Level 1, the corner kid. You are 10 years old. 6 of you share 2 rooms above the bakery. Your father works the docks, sunup to sundown, hands shaking by the second drink. A man in a gray overcoat stops you outside the bakery. He hands you a folded slip of paper, 3 numbers penciled in the corner. Mulberry Street, he says. No stops. Don't look at it. You run the slip to the candy store on Mulberry. You run it to the barber shop on Thursdays. You run it to the back door of the butcher shop when the front is locked. You run it before the number closes at 3, every day, rain or not. One Tuesday you're 4 minutes late. The man at the candy store doesn't yell. He looks at the clock, then at you, then goes back to his newspaper. You never run late again. The man behind the counter checks your number against a slate board. He slides you a nickel. Some weeks, a quarter. You watch the block instead of asking questions. Made men get their hats tipped without asking. Doors get held open without asking. Grown men go quiet mid-sentence when one particular man walks past. Men with mortgages. Men with debts of their own. You see 2 men stand close outside the social club, one talking, one only listening. Your uncle calls it a sit-down. By November of 1957, the radio says a farm in upstate New York. State troopers on a dirt road. 58 men pulled from dark cars, one by one. Your uncle shuts the radio off before the report ends. The hallway phone doesn't ring for a week straight. You see a man dragged into the alley behind the fish market. 3 weeks late on a Shylock loan. A bat. For swings. No words. You count the swings from the fire escape, 2 floors up. Nobody asks what you saw. You already know not to say it. The man in the gray overcoat catches you handing off a slip in December. No hesitation. No looking left or right. He puts one hand on your shoulder. He tells your uncle the kid keeps his mouth shut. Your uncle says nothing back. He doesn't need to. Something has already been decided. Level 2, the associate. You are 16 years old. You don't run slips anymore. You collect. Every Thursday, door to door, a list of names in your head, never on paper. The VIG runs 5 points a week per 100 borrowed. You learn to knock twice, never 3 times. You learn to stand where he can see your hands. You learn to lower your voice, never raise it. You learn to leave the door open behind you. He knows then you're not there to stay. You keep 2 ledgers. One for the family. One that doesn't exist if anyone asks. 1 week you come up $40 short. You cover it from your own pocket before anyone has to ask. Your capo sits you down in the back room of the social club. He explains omertà out loud. First time anyone said it straight to your face, not just shown you. You don't talk to police. You don't talk about business at home. You don't talk about the family to anyone who hasn't earned it. A man on Elizabeth Street runs 3 weeks behind. He makes excuses at the door, a sick kid, a slow month. You're told, don't come back without the money or without proof you tried. You go back with 2 other associates. One carries a bat wrapped in a towel. For swings. 1 kneecap. No words exchanged until it's over. By September of 1963, the radio names a soldier from another family, Valachi, first made man to testify in public. Live television, in front of the United States Senate. He describes the oath word for word. He draws the family trees on a chart for the cameras. The social club goes quiet for a month. Meetings move locations. Phone numbers get changed. An associate 5 years older than you gets passed over for the books again. No qualifying kill yet. No path to made man without one. 3 weeks later he's found in a lot off Canal Street. Beaten, left in the open, not hidden. Word is he talked to a friend who talked to a cop. Nobody says his name at the club again. Your capo hands you a route of your own that winter. 6 blocks, a numbers bank, no supervision. Don't make me regret this, he says. You don't answer him out loud. You already know better than to promise anything you can't take back. Level 3, the earner. You are 23 years old. You run your own book now. Your own rates, your own list, your own risk if a borrower disappears owing money. You run the loan book on Tuesdays. You run a card game in the back of the barber shop on Fridays. You run point on a truck job that comes up in the fall. You run every dollar back through your capo first. You keep a cent only once he's been paid. The first attempt in October falls apart. The driver recognizes a face in the car, radios ahead a mile out. You scrap it. 3 weeks later, in November, You try again. New driver. New route. A forged bill of lading. A flagged-down trailer on Route 1. A full load gone in under 10 minutes. The load moves through a fence 2 towns over. Swag, not cash. Cash draws questions. Swag just draws a buyer. Every Friday, you hand your capo an envelope. He doesn't count it in front of you. That insult is reserved for men who steal from the family. You intend to never be one of them. Another associate accuses you of working his corner without permission. You're called to your first sit-down as a defendant, not a bystander. You explain yourself in front of 3 made men. You keep the corner. He walks out owing an apology he'll never say out loud. You learn to talk business only outside, moving, never standing still. You learn never to say a name on a payphone. You learn to ask a man to prove he isn't wearing a wire before a single word gets said. Your capo gives you an assignment that's spring with no room folded into it. A man has been talking. The order comes down through the chain, no explanation attached, none expected. You wait in a parked car for 40 minutes. 2 shots, close range, over before the sound finishes echoing off the buildings. You're 4 blocks away before anyone opens a window. Nobody speaks of it again. Not your capo. Not you. Your capo tells you in June, your name is going to the boss. The books might open this year, first time in 3 years. You go home. You tell no one. Not even the mirror. Level 4, the made man. You are 26 years old. The message comes with no explanation. A time. An address you don't recognize, 3 neighborhoods over. You park 2 blocks away. You walk in the rain. Inside a basement lit by a single bulb, 8 men sit in a circle, silent. You recognize 2 faces. The rest are strangers from crews you've never worked. Your capo stands first. He vouches for you out loud. 16 years since the number slips. The truck job on Route 1. The parked car that spring. He says your name. Nothing bad follows it. You're asked your blood, your father's town in Italy, the church you were baptized in. Old questions, older than you. You're told you can walk out now. No shame in it. Last chance before the door closes for good. Nobody moves to stop you from leaving. Nobody expects you to take it. You stay. A ranking man pricks your trigger finger with a pin. Blood drops onto a paper image of a saint, cupped in your palm. The paper catches fire in your hand. Heat reaches your fingers fast. Your hand shakes on the first line of the oath, steadied by the second. It gets past man to man before it burns whoever's holding it. The last of it turns to ash in someone else's palm. May I burn like this saint if I betray the family. You're told you can't raise a hand to a made man without the commission's word. You're told you can't touch another man's wife. You're told you answer a summons day or night, any hour, no excuse. You're told there's one way out of this room tonight. It isn't the door. Each man in the circle kisses both your cheeks. Nobody explains what the fire meant. Nobody has to. You drive home before sunrise with a dead man's oath in your own mouth. You signed it yourself. You held the match. Your capo assigns you to his crew that same week. A soldier now. Official this time. The family comes before your own blood, he tells you. He isn't speaking in metaphor. Level 5, the soldier. You are 30 years old. You run your own slice now. Numbers, a shy book, a piece of a Sunday card game. A soldier's cut. A soldier's risk. Every week, you kick a third of it upstairs to your capo. No negotiation. No exceptions, sick or not. You take on your own associate that spring. A kid off the same corner you grew up on. 2 ledgers, the way you were taught. Knock twice. Wait, then once more. Never write a name down. Not once, not ever. The same warning your own capo once gave you. Mistakes get remembered. A beef with another family's crew turns into a shooting on Mulberry Street in June. Nobody's hit. Everybody's nervous. You go to the mattresses that summer. 6 soldiers packed into a rented house in Queens. Guns within reach, waiting for word. You wait by the window in shifts. You wait through the second carton of cigarettes. You wait through hands of cards nobody's really watching. You wait 11 days for a phone call that finally says it's over. The bosses settle it at a sit-down neither of you attends. You never learn what was traded. Your capo passes down an order that fall. No explanation attached, none expected. You carry it out in 20 minutes. You drive home the long way. A sedan sits across from your house for 3 straight days that October. Another soldier tells you, FBI, photographing every man who walks in or out. You start parking 2 blocks away out of habit. Your associate shorts the weekly count by $200 that winter. A mistake, not theft. From outside, the family can't tell the difference. You have to make an example. In front of the same corner that raised you both. He doesn't ask why. He already knows why. Your capo tells you in January he's stepping back, bad heart, doctor's orders. He says your name is one of 2 being floated for his seat. You don't celebrate. Seats like that get earned in rooms you're not invited to yet. Level 6, the caporegime. You are 35 years old. You're made up at a sit-down. The boss is there. The underboss, too. 7 soldiers become yours that afternoon, plus a wider circle of associates underneath them. 10, maybe 12 men total, all reporting up through you now. You learn every face by the 2nd week. You settle your first dispute by the 3rd week. 2 soldiers, fighting over the same card game. You give it to the one who's run it longer. The other one doesn't argue. Arguing costs more than the card game's worth. You sponsor your own first candidate for the books that year. Same spot your capo once stood. Same kind of words. Years served, work done. A second name you put forward that same year gets rejected. Not enough work proven yet. You wait for a better year, no hard feelings shown. You learn to never give an order directly. You learn to route it through a man who routes it through another man. You learn to never say a name on the phone, not even a nickname. You learn to keep 3 layers between your voice and whatever happens next. You skim a piece for yourself before it goes up to the underboss. A habit every capo has. A habit every capo denies. One of your soldiers gets pinched in a gambling raid that November. 2 detectives, a warrant, 6 confiscated betting slips. You meet with 2 other capos in the back of a diner. Quietly, over coffee nobody drinks. The question isn't guilt. The question is whether he holds up under pressure. Or starts trading answers for a lighter sentence. The answer comes back, he's a liability. You pass the order down through the same 3 layers you built for exactly this. You don't touch it yourself. You don't have to. That's the whole design. It's done within the week. You read about it in the paper like everyone else pretends to. Your underboss misses 2 sit-downs that winter. His heart, people say. Though nobody says it directly. The seat above you starts to feel less permanent than it did in January. Level 7, the underboss. You are 39 years old. Your boss meets with you alone now, most mornings. No capo in the room to translate between you. 2 men at a kitchen table, instead of one giving orders down a chain. Every capo in the family answers to you next. 9 of them. 2 are older than your father would have been. They test you the first month. A late payment here. A decision made without asking, there. You let the small ones go. You come down hard on the one that matters. You settle a territory dispute in Brooklyn. You settle a pricing dispute in the Bronx. You settle a succession fight in Queens before it turns into a war nobody ordered. You settle 4 more disputes that same spring, none of them worth the boss's time to hear. You're sent to represent the family at a sit-down with 3 other families that spring. 12 men total, a private room above a restaurant, 2 hours, no more. The old-timers still talk about the farm upstate in '57. Over 100 men, 1 bad road, 1 raid. Nobody in this room plans to repeat that mistake. A security sweep turns up a listening device behind the office radiator in June. Government grade, professional install, running for months before anyone found it. Every conversation held in that room this year now belongs to someone else's file. A shipment gets seized on the New Jersey Turnpike that same month. A direct result, everyone assumes. Nobody can prove which conversation gave it away. You call in the capo who runs that territory. His numbers have been short for 3 straight months. He blames bad luck. You know bad luck doesn't repeat 3 times running. You cut his crew's take by half until the numbers make sense again. The boss makes a call. It costs the family a piece of a downtown construction contract. He tells the other capos it was your decision. You don't correct him in the room. Correcting him isn't part of the job. Your oldest friend in the family loses a territory dispute at the commission level that fall. A capo since before you were even an associate. You're the one who has to tell him. Face to face, no messenger. He doesn't argue the ruling. He just stops calling you by your first name. Your boss misses a commission sit-down in December. A grand jury subpoena, the excuse given. Everyone in the room understands what a subpoena like that actually means. People start asking, quietly, who's next if his seat opens. You don't answer them. You've learned exactly how dangerous an honest answer would be. Level 8, the boss. You are 42 years old. The capos vote you in at a sit-down that runs less than an hour. No campaign, no speech. 16 years since the fire, since the ashes in your palm. Now every one of them answers to you. Every crew's weekly envelope runs through your hands first before it splits back out. Money from numbers, money from loan books, money from 3 unions. 2 construction firms you don't officially own on paper. You approve the construction bid downtown. You approve a new count room on Flatbush Avenue. You approve which capo gets the new territory when a rival family loses its boss to natural causes. Nothing moves without your name behind it anymore. You meet the other 4 bosses that spring. A private room, 90 minutes. Armed men outside who never come in. Nobody calls it a commission out loud. Everybody in the room knows exactly what it is. A capo's associate stops answering calls that summer. Word comes back through 3 different sources. He's cooperating. Wearing a wire. Has been for months. You call your lawyer that same week. The boats move into a shell company. The beach house moves into your sister-in-law's name. Whatever cash still has your real name on it moves into something that doesn't. An accountant you've used for 11 years gets a subpoena of his own that fall. He calls you before he calls anyone else. You tell him to get his own lawyer. You don't offer to pay for one. A federal grand jury subpoena reaches your front door in October. Handed to you personally, on your own driveway. 2 reporters are parked across the street by that afternoon. Camera lenses aimed at your kitchen window. 4 men around you get named in the same investigation. You know all 4 will not survive it standing. You spend one long night deciding, coldly, which 2 can be sacrificed with a plea deal. Which 2 cannot be allowed to take one. Nobody in that room that night knows they're being sorted. The indictment arrives in December. 22 counts under a federal racketeering statute. Extortion, loan sharking, 3 separate murders, all written into a single case number. Maximum sentence, on paper, more years than you have left to live twice over. Your lawyer reads it out loud at the kitchen table. You don't ask him to stop. Level 9, the guest of the state. You are 43 years old. The trial runs into its 3rd month before the prosecution plays the tapes. Your own voice from a wire in a ceiling fixture. Ordinary. Unhurried. Talking through a man's death in the same flat tone he uses for everything else. The jury doesn't blink. You don't either. The verdict comes back after 6 days. Guilty on 19 of 22 counts. Racketeering. Extortion. 3 counts tied to murders you never personally touched with your own hands. The law doesn't care that you didn't. You lose the corner office, then the boats, then the house with your name still half on the deed. You lose the crew that used to call you boss. You lose the wife who stops signing her letters with anything but her name. You lose count of how many Christmases passed behind the same fence. Sentencing lands in January. 40 years, parole eligible after half of it served. Forfeiture strips the rest. Bank accounts, the beach property, a boat you never even got to name. Intake at the federal penitentiary takes 6 hours. A number replaces the name. That name used to move rooms full of grown men to their feet. Nobody here was in that room. Nobody here cares. You work the prison laundry for 11 cents an hour. Folding another man's uniform the same way you once folded a stack of skimmed bills. Letters come weekly the 1st year. Monthly by the 3rd. By the 7th year, they stop arriving at all. You stop checking the mail cart before it stops checking for you. An old newspaper makes it to the prison library in your 9th year inside. A photograph of a man half your age, standing where you used to stand. A new boss. A new set of capos you've never once met. Your old corner belongs to somebody else's crew now. Nobody thought to tell you directly. You aren't owed that anymore. You're released in your 63rd year. 40 pounds lighter than the man who walked in. Hands that shake now for reasons that have nothing to do with liquor. You sit on the stoop, 3 doors from the building you grew up in. Most of the old faces on the block are gone. Dead, or in a facility further upstate than this one. A boy crosses the street that afternoon. Maybe 10 years old. He hands a folded slip of paper to a man outside a social club. Different name over the door now. Same brick underneath it. The man slides the boy a few dollars. The boy doesn't count it in front of him. The boy doesn't ask what the numbers mean. The boy tips an invisible cap the exact way you did, 53 years ago. Same block, same lesson, learned before you'd lost a single tooth. You don't call out to him. You already know exactly what you'd be interrupting. The cycle continues.